You know, when we think about robots in our homes, we usually think about efficiency, right? Getting work done. But what researchers are finding is actually way more interesting than that. It turns out robots don't just do our chores, they fundamentally change how we relate to each other. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden psychology of the robotic home.
I mean, just look at how far we've come. On the left, you've got the classic Roomba discovery from the early 2000s. It was one of the very first robots to really break into our homes. And on the right, well, that's the future that's basically already here. Super advanced humanoid robots moving from the lab right into our living rooms. But the journey from that little puck to this, it's not just a story about technology, it's a story about us.
And this quote right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. A huge study from Carnegie Mellon University on the Roomba found this incredible thing. People didn't see it as just another appliance. Nope, they saw it as a presence, a character, almost like a member of the family. And that right there is where things start to get really complicated.
So if they're not just tools, what are they? That brings us to our first big idea. As soon as these machines come through our front door, they become something else entirely. We actually start giving them personalities.
And the stories people tell are just amazing. In one case, a family named their Roomba Manual, after the clumsy but lovable butler from the British show Fawlty Towers. They just felt like it had this personality, even if it was a bit of a klutz. And researchers realized, hey, this wasn't just a one-off. When people did name their robots, they often gave them male names, slotting them right into the family's social world.
And it gets even weirder than that. The same study recorded people literally saying "excuse me" if they got in the robot's way while it was cleaning. Now think about that. You don't say "excuse me" to your toaster, right? It just goes to show we're forming this real emotional, almost social bond with these machines.
Okay, so let's see how this social dynamic actually plays out in the family. When a brand new robot shows up, who's the first person to get their hands on it? The answer? Well, it reveals this really powerful and consistent pattern.
What the research shows is that men and boys are almost always the first ones to jump in. One researcher actually said that in many families, the excitement of the males acted like a bridge to get over the skepticism of the females, who were, understandably doubtful that this little machine could handle the real mess. The key was that it wasn't just a vacuum, it was a cool new piece of tech.
And this whole adoption thing, it usually followed a pretty clear script. Dads and sons would be the ones to unbox it, pore over the instructions, and do the grand first demonstration for everyone. And what this does, effectively, is it sets them up as the household's technical gatekeepers for this new robotic family member. But here is the kicker. This whole setup has a side effect that nobody saw coming.
And this is that unexpected twist. See, when technology like the washing machine came along, it didn't really change who did the laundry. It just meant we were expected to have cleaner clothes. But physical AI, it might actually be different. This is where the story takes a fascinating turn.
So it leads to this huge question that researchers are seriously asking now. Because men and boys are taking on this gatekeeper role, they get way more invested in the chore that the robot is doing. It's a subtle change, but it's a powerful one.
So here's the psychology behind it. It's all about reframing. A mop? That's seen as work. But supervising a robot vacuum? That feels more like play, or like you're managing a cool gadget. Suddenly, men and kids who would never dream of touching a traditional cleaning tool are way more likely to get involved. Cleaning stops being this lonely chore and starts becoming this kind of family activity centered around the new tech.
But it's not all good news. As these robots get smarter and more connected to the internet, that same technical gatekeeper dynamic is creating a totally new and pretty sneaky form of inequality in the house. Let's talk about the admin gap. So, in the world of smart homes, researchers are now seeing two new roles emerge. First, you have the admin. This is usually the most tech-savvy person in the house. They set everything up and they control all the settings. And then you have the passive users. That's basically everyone else living there who might use the tech but has zero control over its data or its privacy.
And as you can see from this chart, the problem is pretty stark. The admin has total control. They can see all the data the robot is collecting, like maps of your home, and they are the only one who controls the privacy settings. Passive users? They get no access, and a lot of the time, they have no idea what data is being collected or who it's being shared with. This isn't just about convenience. It creates a very real power imbalance right inside the home.
And look, this isn't just some academic theory anymore. Regulators are actually starting to pay attention. They're warning that it's a huge problem when one technically proficient person gets to make all the privacy decisions for everyone they live with. Just think about it. That one person is deciding the privacy for their partners, their kids, maybe even elderly relatives who have absolutely no say in the matter.
So, where does all this leave us? The robotic revolution isn't coming to our homes. It's already here, and it is forcing us right now to completely renegotiate how we live together.
And I want to be crystal clear, this is not science fiction. You're looking at real humanoid robots you can buy or pre-order today. They go from the amazingly affordable Noatex Biumi at about $1,400 all the way up to advanced helpers like the 1X Neo and Figure 03, which are literally designed to fold your laundry, do the dishes, and learn new skills just by watching you do them.
At the end of the day, this isn't really about just getting out of doing chores. The bigger vision here is to create a kind of hybrid home where the machines handle all the dull, dirty, and dangerous stuff, which frees us up to focus more on each other, on our families, on being creative, on just connecting.
But as we welcome these new, very capable roommates into our lives, we're left with a really critical question. It's not just about who takes out the trash anymore. So I want you to really think about this for your own home. Who would be the admin?